Hello Pixies, and welcome to or back to my channel. It's Zoe here, and I'm just gonna be doing a simple wintry fairy reading vlog. This is probably gonna be my first reading vlog of the year that goes up, which is shocking considering how much I read. I tried to do a 2025 reset vlog where I kind of reorganized my kitchen a little bit, reorganized the tea cabinet within the kitchen. I did other things I don't remember, went to Disney Springs, all that. It's just these vlogs never ended up working out for me. And then I started a new vlog, but that was a whole series reread so I could read the most up-to-date book, but it's really just a book set in the same universe. And even though I haven't finished recording that reading vlog at the time of doing this, I wanted a bit of a break before I delved into another giant book within that world. And so with that, I really wanted to read two new releases. One of them, which actually isn't out yet at the time of me recording this intro right here, right now, just some nice wintry fairy with romance books, and I'm really excited about it. And just to have a nice wintry chill few days in my life reading vlog. That was a very rambly start, but whatever. The first book I'm going to be reading, or at least the one I'm going to be starting first, is A Crown So Silver by Lyra Celine, and this is the sequel to A Feather So Black. It's the next installment in the series. And if you're new here, hello, hi. But if you're new here, A Feather So Black came out last March, and it was one of my favorite books of the year. And I absolutely loved it, and it ends on such a cliffhanger, and I am so excited to be reading the sequel to see where the story is going to go from here. This is the Fairfolk series. Don't know how many books it's going to be. I was thinking maybe it would just be a duology, but I don't think that's the case at all after reading the description for this book. A Feather So Black, if you haven't heard of it before, A Feather So Black, we follow our character Fia, and Fia is a changeling. She is a fae in the mortal world. And at the time where she was exchanged, there was this great war between human and fae, and the fae ended up closing the 12 gates to the fae world. And the one who Fia took the place of was the princess, the queen's daughter. However, it's very obvious that she was a changeling. Everyone knows that she's a changeling. But instead of killing her or getting rid of her in another way, the queen decided to keep her and raise her as her own child, and to also use her as kind of her spy master. But then, at the very beginning of the book, the kind of premise for the book is that the queen receives the discovery of that there is a 13th gate, and so she sends Fia on a quest to go retrieve her true daughter. But Fia also has to go with the queen's daughter, her sister's betrothed, who she was in love with in childhood and hasn't seen in years and now kind of hates. It's a really great story. It's exactly what I think the direction that romantasy should be going in. Forget about that other stuff. Read A Feather So Black. I don't understand why no one on BookTube seems to talk about this book. But this is the sequel to that. It ends on such a cliffhanger. I'll tell you, what I'm liking about it so far, and if I think it, holds up compared to the first book, because second books in series can sometimes be kind of iffy. So I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that without giving spoilers for the entire story. If I do insert some spoilery things, I'll give a warning. And the other book I really want to read that isn't out yet but will be coming out in just a couple days here is Wings of Starlight, which is going to be the newest Alison Saff book. And this book is a Disney Fairies book. Now, if you've seen my recent BookTube newbie tag video, then you would know that Disney Fairies and Tinkerbell were some of my favorite things of childhood. And I guess I'll just repeat it now. The Disney Fairies Pixie Hollow books, those are what got me into reading as a child, reading by myself for the first time. I love the illustrations, I love the stories, loved the characters. I also really loved the Tinkerbell movies as a child. And it's just, Disney fairies were just like such a big part of my life growing up. And this book, Wings of Starlight, is a young adult novel that's a prequel basically to all those Disney fairy books I read as a child, because this is about Queen Clarion when she was young before she was queen, even though she was going to end up as queen someday. Let me bring it up on my phone right now so I can give you the best description of this book that I possibly can, because I'm so excited. This is one of my most anticipated books that I think I've ever wanted. According to Goodreads, this is the description. It's been centuries since a warm season fairy in Pixie Hollow has crossed into the winter woods, and while most fear the legends of monsters lurking in the frozen lands, Clarion can't help being intrigued by winter's stoic beauty. But under the watchful eyes of the current monarch and the court's seasonal ministers, Clarion has little time to dwell on daydreams while the days to her coronation dwindle away. That is, until reports of a monster crossing from the winter into spring make their way to the palace. Clarion sees defeating this threat as an opportunity to prove that she is worthy of her new role. But instead of finding a monster at the edge of winter, she finds Mallory, a young guardian of the winter woods. Together, they form an unlikely bond as they race to save their lands. But as their alliance warms to something more, they will discover there is a reason a warm season fairy and a winter fairy must not be together, and the cost could just be as deadly as the monsters that prowl the winter woods. I am so excited about this book. I want this book to be so good because I want more young adult novels to be set in this world that's so nostalgic and so reminiscent of my childhood. I cannot even begin to describe how excited I am, or how much the Disney fairies meant to me when I was a kid and growing up and such. I am so excited. I'm going to get that book within just a couple days of its release. It comes out 2 days from now. It's currently February 2nd as I'm filming this. It comes out on February 4th. Yeah, it comes out on February 4th. Maybe I'll get it on the 4th, but it might be the 5th. Might even be the 6th if I'm unlucky. But I'm ecstatic to read this. And Alison Saft, I've only read one book by her, but I currently own 3 because I got 2 of them for Christmas. The book I own and that I've read is A Dark and Drowning Tide, which was also one of my favorite books of last year. I think I loved A Dark and Drowning Tide a little bit more than A Feather So Black, even though I really loved A Feather So Black. But I loved A Dark and Drowning Tide. It was so good. And I also own her debut novel, which I can't remember the name of right now, and I own A Fragile Engagement, which I'm really excited to read, but it'll be a bit later in the year where I read that because that's for a specific video project. But I think she's on her way to becoming one of my favorite authors, and I'm so excited about this book, especially after reading A Dark and Drowning Tide. I love that, and if this book is anything like that book, I'm absolutely gonna love it. But yeah, we got 2 wintry fairy books to read. I will also be reading another book in the background that's for a different video project, but I'm just so excited about all of these things. I'm so excited, and I'm also excited to read something other than the world that I've been in, because the world that I've been in has been intense and dark, and I'm not calling this light by any means, but it isn't so battle heavy. So, yeah. Hope you're excited about the vlog. I'm really excited about these 2 books I'm going to be reading for it. I'm going to start A Crown So Silver today. I'm really excited. So I guess I'll see you when I am either doing something fun or when I have an update for you on A Crown So Silver. Bye. Hello. It's update time. I'm about 100 pages into A Crown So Silver, and I am really enjoying how the book is going so far. I believe I already described what A Feather So Black was to you, and this is a continuation of the story. We're basically picking up right where we left off because there was a bit extra at the back, and that extra scene is retold in a different perspective at the very beginning of this. So really it starts back up right at the end. But I don't really want to say too much about what the beginning is because I don't want this to be a spoilery video. I don't want there to be spoilers in this video, so I can't really tell you what it's about. But basically, we'll just put as things didn't go to plan in the last book. And now she is traveling with some other people to a different place, to a quote-unquote safer area of the Fae realm, which I can't pronounce. Let's see if it's in the pronunciation guide, actually. Tir na nog is how it is spelled in the pronunciation guide, which is the realm of the fair folk, the other world. Fae realm. Same thing. It's all the same. Tir na og. Tir na nog. Tir na nog. Nog. Tir na nog. Tir na nog. If you know the correct pronunciation, let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure that's like the traditional Fae. That's like the original thing in like Celtic mythos is Tir na nog. Nog. Whatever. You get my point. But we pick right back up, and right now they're currently traveling. And A Feather of So Black was a really special book. And part of it was that it felt very different from other fantasy romances because it took place over 12 months. And like typically like a lot of it was just 12 nights, each night of the full moon. That's my air conditioner. I'm sorry, I'm not turning it off. Night of the full moon. But there were parts outside of that full moon bit. Those were like the more quieter edges of the story and more so thinking. So like it felt a lot longer because there was more time to think, and this so far is going moment by moment, and I can't really see that change. So I'm intrigued to see how the author pulls it off and to see if it delivers the same feelings as the first book, because I really love the first book. But I will say that it's just so easy to read. I consider these more like fun reads, in my opinion. They're fun. It does some things that are expected, some things that are unexpected. You know, still wanting to see the fates of some other characters that were kind of left hanging at the end of the last book. I have some theories already on how this is going to go, and that's not good. So there's that. And I really like the dynamic between the main character and her love interest. I'm really into that. I think it's a really good dynamic because they're very, very different and have very, very different beliefs and like what makes them who they are at their core. They're very, very different, which is to be expected. But yeah, I feel like I'm just rambling. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm probably going to finish it tonight. I don't know if I'll update you again today or if I'll just update you tomorrow, because I don't like talking to the camera at night and the light is fading fast, if you couldn't tell by how this looks. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading this. And that's my little book update. Other updates. I painted my nails, I think, in this video. I don't know if I showed the actual paint process, probably not. And also, I got a haircut today. Like, how cute. She put some curl cream in it, which is making it like kind of like crispy for back of letterword. Like there's a lot of gel in it. So it doesn't look quite the same, but it's so much better than what it was. It's so much better. And she also fixed my bangs. They're so much better. Everything's good now. Everything's good. You can see my face. My hair doesn't look awful. I'm really, really happy with it. Didn't do color this time. I'll probably fix that within a few months. But yeah, I got a haircut. Oh, I also went and bought Wings of Starlight. Let me go grab that to show you. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I don't know if it has like an extra bit at the end, but the cover is purple instead of blue, like in the regular one. That's the only difference cover-wise, is the color. And then we also have this artwork on the back. I don't know if all of them have this, but I guess this is Mallory, the love interest. I am so excited about this book. I'll probably be starting this one tomorrow because I'm so excited about it. Like, I'm so excited to read this book. I don't think you even understand how excited I am to read this book. Like, I am super excited about it. And we're just having some good wintry fairy reads. Also, I was thinking I'll do a little bit of a crafty thing. So if I do that, I will show you how my crafty stuff turns out. Because I'm thinking of practicing my needle felting or just needle felting one of my hats. but we'll see which one I actually do, because I get nervous. Even though I've done it multiple times, I still get nervous. So I might just do a practice design to see if I like it, or do some other drawings to like get inspo. But yeah, I do 2D natal felting. I wear berets a lot, and I think natal felting berets are really cool. I have one that I've done in the past, which I really, really love, and I would love to have more of them. So I was thinking I would do that as a little crafty project. My other interesting news is that I found blood oranges at the store again. Blood oranges are one of my favorite fruits, and they're kind of hard to find. I've only ever seen them available in the month of January in the winter, you know, because they're a winter fruit. But usually I can only find them once or twice before they're gone for the rest of the year. But living in Florida has its perks, because this is the second time I bought them, but the fourth time I've seen them in store. So I'm very excited that they're still available, even though it's February. I'm hoping that I can get another bag before the end of blood orange season. But I have this blood orange to eat. So I'm gonna read my book. I'm gonna eat this blood orange. I think we're gonna play Scrabble. I'm gonna make dinner. And I'll catch you when I have an update on my book. Or if I just want to chat. Maybe I'll just want to chat. But I doubt it, because what would I talk about? My life's very boring. So I'll see you later. Bye. Hello. It's update time, because I have finished A Crown So Silver. And I have some thoughts. So, we're following directly from the events of the last book. And so in this book, I was expecting things to be different, which I think I mentioned before, because that book takes place over a long period of time. And this one continued directly after, and even the first pages were more like a play-by-play, so very different stylistically and like how it's written kind of style, because they even could have done like longer time skips, I believe, and it just didn't work out that way. And so that was automatically different, but that wasn't a bad thing. And then, if you don't know, Fia and her companions have gone to a different place in the Fae realm, where there is a like competition trial thing, which is held every year, and the winner of the tournament gets their greatest heart's desire forged for them, because the person who runs this tournament, the person who runs this section of the Fae realm, like, is basically a person, well, this Fae man who can create. He forges things, and he is the one who originally forged the treasures, like the sky sword and the heart of the forest, which, if you've read the first book, you know the significance of those things. So he's very, very talented in what he creates. And then we get into the whole trial thing, which, when you think trial, you obviously think that, like, you have certain expectations that are leading up to that. You think that's just going to take over the whole plot. And I'm very pleased to say that this did not happen with the author, and she went about the tournament in a very different way than I feel like most other fantasy romance authors would, and I really appreciate that. And we see more of this place that this, I don't want to say Fae Lord, because he's not really a lord, that's the thing, but this guy is running. And we get a bit more world building than we did in the previous book. We learn more about Fae culture. Fia learns more about her culture specifically, because she was raised in the human realm, but there's some parts where it's like she's thinking those things for the sake of thinking them, and I feel like we could have thought of some other things, and the feeling we would have got is the things she would have thought verbatim, if that makes sense. And there's relationship drama in here, and there's another character who we met in the first book, and I feel like the author was trying to force a love triangle that obviously wasn't a love triangle, because obviously two of the people are really in love with each other, and there's this one guy who's just attracted to one of them, but she's never gonna pick him, ever, not in a million years. So it wasn't even a real love triangle, so I just didn't even really get the point of doing that, to be honest. Like, it wasn't a love triangle. She would have never, ever, ever, ever picked him. She would have never have done that. We got some really cool stuff, you know, and it was really neat. And like, I was really just having a good time. I consider these to be more like fun books. I don't think they're like super deep necessarily, and there's nothing wrong with just a book that's just fun. Like, obviously a lot of books I like are just fun, but anyway, these are just fun. But then the ending made me angry. The ending made me angry, and it ruined the rest of the reading experience for me. I rated A Feather So Black, the first book, a 9 out of 10. It was almost perfect, because if you're new here, or if you don't know me at all, I rate on a system of 10, and the only books in my entire collection, in my entire life, and I don't think this is ever going to change, is the original Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, the first 5 books. Those are everything I want. Action, wit, sensitivity, funny moments, and they also have nostalgia attached to them. I've always been a really big fan of Percy Jackson since I read the very first book, and I read the very first book when I was in the 4th grade. So that was a long time ago, because I'm 24 years old now. Oh my god, that was like 14 years ago. Wow. Anyway, I love those books. They're the only books, in my opinion, that are 10 out of 10. Those are my top favorite books ever. So everything else, 9 out of 10 if they're a favorite, because none of them hit the same way. And part of that is the nostalgia attached to it, which is why I don't think anything else could ever make its way into the 10 out of 10 category. And so A Feather So Black was a 9 out of 10 for me. I loved it. I thought it was so different for romantasy. I thought everything was so intense. I thought it was beautifully written, and there's this really good concept in there that the Fae realm is kind of more wild, and like there's these old crumbling Fae cities, because when Fae live in cities, it doesn't really work out. It makes them weird. And in this book, we're in a Fae city, and guess what? It makes them weird. Who would have thought? I thought that was so interesting. But being in the city for most of this book, it doesn't do that, obviously. And so I'm hoping in the next book we move back towards what makes this Fae feels so different from the other ones. Like, that's what I would really love, because I feel like that's what makes this series special. But then but back to my point, I thought this book was going to be an 8 out of 10. Wasn't as good as the first one, but I was still really enjoying myself, and I thought it was good continuation. And then the ending made me so angry, I bumped it down to a 7. And honestly, I might have even bumped it down to a 6 if I didn't enjoy the other parts as much as I did. Like, the ending made me so angry. It's almost the same ending as the first book, but like, so it's like, do it again, but do it slightly to the left. And like, that just makes me angry that we're basically at the same edge of the same freaking cliffhanger. Like, that was unnecessary. I didn't like that. I didn't think that was good. I thought it was kind of lazy, to be completely honest, because you just replicated your special moment in your first book, basically, just ever so slightly different. And I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate that one bit. I am still going to continue on with the series, but I hope she doesn't do it again with the 3rd book, or else I might DNF the series. Yeah, that made me angry. Really didn't appreciate that. That is my final thoughts on A Crown So Silver. In no way is a bad book. I don't want you to think this is bad. I just really didn't like the very end of this book. I've had a busy morning. I went and got a library card. I'm very excited about it. And I have to go get another library card, which is open to the county that I live in, but you can't just use the library card for the rest of the county for this specific library, but it's totally fine. So I need to go get that library card at some point. But at least I have a library card that will work for most libraries in this county. And yeah, so like, I've done some stuff today. Yeah. And so the rest of the day, I probably won't do anything crafty today because I'm tired. So that will probably get moved to tomorrow. But today, I'm probably going to start Wings of Starlight tonight. And I also need to make dinner, which is so fun and interesting. So when I have an update on the things I want to talk about, I will update you, or I'll show you what I'm doing when I get there. So I'll talk to you later. Hello. It's update time because I'm officially a good chunk of the way through Wings of Starlight, and I mentioned what this book was about at the beginning of this vlog and how this was set in like the Pixie Hollow universe, and that it was kind of a prequel to those chapter books that came out in the early 2000s. And I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning, but those are like the books that really got me into reading. Those books made my childhood. I was also a really big fan of the Tinkerbell movies. I loved them so much. And this is the backstory of Queen Clarion before she is crowned queen. And honestly, going into this, because of my history with the Disney fairies with Pixie Hollow, I was really excited, and I wanted so badly for this book to be good. But also, I feel like I tend to do this thing when I'm really excited about a book, where I build it up so much in my head that it can just never be as good as I think it should be. But I am pleased to say that I am really enjoying this book. It's so whimsical and bright and reminds me of everything I loved about them as a kid, but with a more grown-up flair, for lack of a better term, because we're dealing with some more serious topics than what the other books did. Not saying they didn't deal with serious topics, but still, this one is just a bit more of a grand adventure than minor problems, if that makes sense. And I'm loving it. As I said, the writing style is so whimsical, and it brings me so much joy that the whimsy is there, because at the end of the day, this is a book about pixie fairies. They're not like the high fae that we've kind of got used to in like romantasy and such, and I'm so glad for it, because I just am loving it. And also, a good thing about this is that it doesn't take away any of the lore that, if you know about Pixie Hollow, if you've seen the movies, if you've read the books, you know there's a certain lore to Pixie Hollow. And this doesn't take away a single aspect of that lore, but rather builds upon things that never need to be talked about in the books for small children. Like, why is she queen? Why are her wings different? All these things, like how long they live. All of these things. And yeah, so like it expands upon it. It expands upon the world so well. And I think it was really smart to do a prequel, because in this story specifically, winter and the other warm seasons, spring, summer, fall, don't really interact with winter, and they're like by themselves, and that's what makes them mysterious, and fairies don't really cross over. But obviously in the Pixie Hollow books, as well as Pixie Hollow movies, winter is a bit strange, but it is still present. So yeah, I'm just so excited to know that this is going so well. I'm really loving Clarion's character, because you can see herself in this, but a less sure version of herself. Someone who's really come into her own yet, and she's a very relatable character, which when you're doing royalty, especially royalty who has really been trained, that could be quite a difficult thing to do. And yeah. And also, really enjoying Mallory's character, and I'm enjoying the way that the story is progressing, what's happening, like, everything's just coming together so nicely. And like, it's a bit of a simple story, but like, simple stories are still good stories, so I'm just so happy with the way that this is turning out so far. And yeah, I'm really enjoying myself. This book is just a bit under 400 pages. Yeah, just a bit under 400 pages. Honestly, I'm like halfway through, and I just started today. I'm really excited to see how everything ends up. Obviously, it gives some illusions, but I'm just really excited to continue with the story. I think I have a new favorite on my hands here in a book I'm going to talk about for a long time, so I'm just really excited about that. And I know I've just been gushing about this book, but honestly, I don't have a single bad thing to say about it right now. I really don't. It's bringing me so much joy, like so much joy. So yeah, that was my little update on Wings of Starlight. So there's that. I haven't done anything crafty yet. I know it keeps getting put off. I was doing some other things this morning, just like regular chores that needed to be done. Also filmed a video before this. That should already be up by the time this goes up, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'll probably do some crafty things mainly tomorrow, if I had to guess. I'm just gonna try and convince my partner to play Scrabble with me or something. Yeah. That's kind of it. Oh, also, my dinner last night. I did make dinner. It turned out really good. I'll actually link the recipe down in the description box in case you're interested. It was like this. It was this really tasty, like, lime black bean bowl. I served it over lettuce, but I wouldn't really call it a salad at the same time. It was really good. It was really easy. I'll link the recipe in the description in case anyone's interested. I don't know if I've mentioned this recently, but I've been rewatching Adventure Time, and I'm loving it so much. Adventure Time is my favorite show ever, and it's so bright and whimsical. I'm just having a great time. Rewatching it already on season 4. Been watching it since like beginning of January, and it's so much fun. It's so good. I'm having a great time with that. I'll update you again when I've either done a crafty thing or when I have another update with Wings of Starlight. But if I had to guess, I probably won't update you again until we're done with the book. But I kind of just want to keep reading this book at the same time. So I'll talk to you later. Hello. It's update time both for my artwork and for the book. And also just for what I've been up to in general, I guess. So let's start with what I've been up to in general. Last night did in fact play Scrabble, did win, didn't record it, sorry. And we also played Mario Party Jamboree for the first time because I got the game for Christmas, and it was so much fun. We both lost though. We both lost to the computer. Bowser Jr. is my new number 1 enemy. It was upsetting, to say the least, to lose to the computer, like seriously. But we had so much fun. We did the Wiggler for us, which was so cute. I'm gonna ask my partner if we can play again tonight because I just had so much fun. And then I also read more of Wings of Starlight last night, and I'm almost done with it. I have less than 100 pages left, and these pages go by so fast, but I am enjoying every word in this book. This has reached beyond what I thought it was going to be. This is definitely going to be a 9 out of 10 for me once I'm done with this. It's so great. I love the writing. I love the story. I love this nostalgic feeling that I'm getting from this. It's everything. And like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but literally every time I put this down, it's what I'm thinking about. Last night, I was making dinner. I was thinking about Wings of Starlight. Playing Scrabble, what was I thinking about? Wings of Starlight. When I was playing Mario Party Jamboree, you guessed it, I was thinking of Wings of Starlight. Like, I am loving it so much. Like, I really hope that there are more books that are YA in the Pixie Hollow universe. I'm having so much fun. I love that there are secrets and stuff, but it's nothing like too heavy, and there's not too dire of consequences. Like, some YA books are really dark, like Threadneedle. That's a YA book that's pretty dark and has like really dark themes and stuff, but this is much more of a lighter book, which just goes to show how much like care was put into it, that a light story without like big twists or big reveals can still have a really intriguing plot and a great writing style and great character. Like, this is lovely. I think I like this better than A Dark and Drowning Tide, which is by the same author. I said I know. I love that book. It's one of my favorite books of last year. But like, I would be shocked if this wasn't in my top 3 books at the end of the year. Like, seriously. I am loving this. This is great. This is everything I could have wanted. Like, it really truly is. Which brings me to my artsy stuff, which unfortunately I don't think I'm going to finish in this video, because I was talking to you about how I really want a needle felt a beret, and like I had tons of ideas, right? Like, I really want an Adventure Time one, and I was going to do a Lady Rainicorn inspired design, but I don't have the exact right color, so I know it would drive me insane, so I'm probably not going to do that now. Plus, I recently saw someone online. If I can find them again, I'll link them down below, but they do needle felting on denim jackets, and I never thought about needle felting on things that weren't also like felt, like berets are felt, you know. But like, I have a pink denim jacket that I was always planning on embroidering after learning how to embroider, but I haven't done that yet, and I have no idea when I'm going to learn how to do that, especially since I'm really into needle felting. But I thought it would be a great idea to actually needle felt my pink denim jacket and do an Adventure Time theme on there. Like, wouldn't that be so cute? And do a giant Lady Rainicorn on the back. That sounds like so much fun. I would need a bigger needle felting mat though, and a lot more experience than I currently have. And I thought about doing like a Pokemon beret, but it's really hard for me to draw Pokemon. Their designs are deceptively simple because they're just like, oh, it's just shapes. But like, if you make one wrong mark, the entire thing doesn't look right. Like, if you don't have the exact right curve, it's just not gonna work. So I was trying to think of what I could do, and I kept thinking about this book, obviously. So I thought I would do a design based off the book, but it doesn't look that way outwardly because it's not like I'm drawing characters or anything. It's just a simple beret design. But I know it's inspired by this book, and now you know it's inspired by this book. I did a little drawing, and it's not perfect, but like, who cares about that? We have the bee. There's a bee at the beginning of the book. We have a flower stem with flowers on it, and then we have a snowy owl feather, and also I put flowers up there and we have a snowy owl feather because there is a snowy owl as a character in this book, and I did snowflakes for winter, and I did a little flower design for like spring. Don't know if I'll keep that or just do snowflakes at the top of the bee, but I kind of like having the 2 snowflakes because it also looks like the 2 stars for Neverland. Obviously, this is just a sketch, and it's not perfectly in balance or anything, not drawn perfectly, but it's totally fine. I find needle felting to be way more, and like felt in general to be way more forgiving than like pencil and paper. And also, I'll be following the curve of the beret, so it will be even on both sides because it's already that placement. It's harder to do on paper, in my opinion. But I'm really excited about this design. I want to do some practice things, like practice needle felting a bee, practice needle felting this flower design, practice needle felting the snowflakes before I go on the actual beret. Plus, I need to decide what color I want to do for the beret because I have lots of berets, so I have lots of options. But I'm just really excited about this design to have like a Wings of Starlight Pixie Hollow inspired beret. I think it's a really cute idea and very on brand for me. Oh, also, what I was up to today, I also recorded my video for the March of the Fairies Reading Challenge. I hadn't talked about it in this video yet because I was kind of thinking maybe this won't go up before that, But no, that one's going up in a few days, and this one will probably be a little bit after that. So yeah, the whole reason I'm reading fairy books in this video is anticipation for March of the Fairies, because I just want to go ahead and start, but it's still March. But this would be if you want to go check out that, I would link the video up in the cards above. I'm really, really excited about that, and Wings of Starlight will definitely be a recommendation for that. If you want to participate, this would be a great book for that challenge. Like, it's really, really fun, and I'm really excited about March of the Fairies. Honestly, like, this book was so good. I'm in love with this book. This book is everything I could have ever wanted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go finish this book, and I will tell you my very, very final thoughts and how I like the ending and everything. And to wrap up the reading vlog, sorry I didn't get around to actually doing my design in this video, but at least you get to see the concept, and you'll probably see me work on it in a future vlog. So let's go finish this book. Hello, and welcome to the final update, because I have officially finished Wings of Starlight. 9 out of 10. This book is perfect. I loved it. From the writing to the characters to the world building, it was everything and anything I could have ever wanted. Fortunately for me, all my expectations were met, so I didn't build it up too much in my head. I absolutely loved this. The conclusion to the conflict is beautiful. Realizations are made. Her coronation happens. Everything is just so beautiful. And it's also just a teeny bit heartbreaking at the end and sad. But in like the best way possible. I absolutely loved it. This is the best book I've read so far this year. It's gonna take a lot to top this book. Like, it truly is. I am so happy that I've read this. And I made such a beautiful reading journal page for it. I know I don't really show my reading journal stuff on here because I haven't really quite figured out that yet. And like, I filmed me making this, but honestly, I don't know how good it's gonna be. I don't get how people get so close. Yeah, but don't read it unless you really want my spoiler thoughts. But like, look how beautiful it is. I know I really did a lot of stickers, but I was trying to do like spring, summer, winter. Didn't really get fall in there, but like whatever, it's fine. I think it turned out really pretty. It is a lot, but it was really fun. And also, same here for this is how Crown So Silver turned out, which is also a very pretty page. I'm pretty happy with that page too. I just love washi tapes and stickers, and I had so much to say about this book. I left a very small amount of space underneath it than I usually do for 2 books, but the book I'm reading next, I know I don't need a lot of space for, but I'm just so happy with Wings of Starlight. It was everything. I really hope there are more YA Pixie Hollow books. That would literally make my life. It would make everything. Like, I love this. I want more of this. I want more. I want more. Just putting it out there. I want more. Also, we're in a flower crown, and like literally all day this lock of hair has been like hiding that flower. Anyway. Also, I've been wearing fairy ears. I don't know if you can even tell that. It doesn't matter. But with a crown, no, it's a crown so. But with Wings of Starlight, that brings us to the end of this wintry fairy reading vlog that I was reading in anticipation for March of the Fairies Reading Challenge. I read these 2 books. I enjoyed A Crown So Silver, but I did have my problems with it, and it disappointed me a little bit because I loved A Feather So Black so much. But Wings of Starlight was everything I could ever wanted. But I had a pretty good reading time with both of them for the most part. So yeah, major success for the vlog, especially with Wings of Starlight. It was absolutely perfect, and I loved it. What a gem. What a gem. Like, I loved everything about it. I just loved it. It was so good. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone who watches my videos. Thank you so much. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. I would also really appreciate that. And you can subscribe if you want to see me read more books, do more reading vlogs, or stay tuned for the March of the Fairy Reading Challenge. I would also really love that. And yeah, so I guess I'm signing off now. Okay, bye.